Hi everyone, this is Fabio SantoS, and I'm here today with Corey Goode. Corey, welcome, and thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, Fabio. It's good to be with you again.
Thank you. I want to talk to you about a lot of things about your accelerating a section online course, and I'm also part of it as a student. And by the way, it's been great so far. Also about you going to Brazil for the first time this September for the Experience 2020 event. But I would like to start by asking you this. We've been hearing a lot lately about QAnon, especially in the US, but we're just starting to talk about it in Latin America and some places in Europe, like Portugal or Spain. People are still not that familiar with the term and what it means. Could you please tell us what is QAnon, in your opinion, and its role, and how does it fit into the Earth's Alliance and the Galactic Alliance?
Well, QAnon is it's obviously a military operation. And when I was giving my information in 2015, 2016, I had discussed that there were going to start being clever ways to do document dumps and data dumps. And QAnon is that. And QAnon, I am told, was put together by 17 of the closest people working around Trump in this mission that they have to overthrow the deep state, and that it's a big, DoD, DIA program. That it's mostly people that are retired out of the military but still very connected, that are in communication with the administration and working to take down the deep state.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Okay. And what is its connection to the alliance and to the Galactic Alliance as well?
Well, it's an alliance operation, and
Okay.
the alliance is uh, a big part of the alliance are United States, people from the United States, but there are people from I think 160 countries that are all a part of this overall alliance to bring down this satanic cabal that's been running the planet. QAnon is an operation of this operation. Now, we talk about a secret space program alliance that is divorced, completely different from this Earth alliance. And they work in conjunction, and some people are members of both. But the Earth alliance is really pretty ignorant of what's going on a more cosmic level. They're more focused on what's going on here on a smaller level, on, within countries, on the local planet.
Okay, interesting. You mentioned the SSP Alliance. So, is there a reason why they've been so silent lately? Have you been talking to them? What about the Blue Avens, the Mayans, the Anshar? Have you been talking to them?
Mainly, I've only been interfacing with the NSHAR and having communication with them.
Okay.
Uh, I'm having some very sporadic communication with Lieutenant Colonel Gonzalez. He is with the Mayans full time, and they come and they do physical work on me sometimes because I have some issues that they need to keep at bay health wise, so I can do the mission that I'm doing. The Blue Avians, every once in a while, I'll have a dream interaction with them, but no more physical interactions. Since that the big event going on, going on 2 years ago, I guess, or more. Um, yeah, things kind of tend to get really crazy. The communications happen in clusters, and it's real hectic. And then you'll go long periods of not having communication. And that's both with these beings and also the alliance, the actual Earth alliance. Information's coming out through Q, but most of the people we talk to that used to give me briefings, like generals, colonels, retired admirals, majorly connected people, they get on a bridge call, they get a lot of information, and then they disseminate the information to us. Well, those bridge calls are not happening anymore. They haven't been happening for a while because the mission is operational. They're in the field, they're executing the operation, and they can't have things flying around in comms and communications and being shared. So whenever you hear people talking about getting this great briefing from the military or whatever, it's most likely exaggerated. I'm not going to say not true, because a lot of these generals, they get used to being in a position of having information when people come to them, and they get very comfortable with when people approach them and they don't have the answers anymore. So they will like pick out little scuttlebutt rumors and kind of put the pieces together themselves and what's most logically or what they think is happening, and they'll disseminate that, but not let them know that it's speculation. And a lot of that is the information that got around, you know, about the 10 days of darkness and all of that that was supposed to happen. That was, and if you look at, you can feel free to cut in a clip of my public statement about this on my Sphere Being Alliance YouTube channel. I'm totally cool with you doing that.
Sure, thank you.
In the video, I do give the briefings that are not really briefings, there are a lot of speculation. The information I was getting, I was passing as speculation, but others were passing information to David and others as though they were real excited and they were getting information as though it was an actual briefing, but a lot of it was speculation. And this 3 days of darkness is what I was told it would be. And I wasn't given any type of time period. I was told that just to release the information that across the world, if at some point the entire internet slows to a crawl, that not to freak out, that that's more than likely a good thing. It has to do with them slowing down the internet, getting evidence and cutting off communications between cabal as they're executing arrests over a 72-hour period. I never heard anything about 10 days of darkness or this occurring in my briefings, but I did hear about a 72-hour coordinated event that would include a slowdown of the internet, if not almost a complete stop, and regular communications would be affected, as well as television broadcasting.
Okay.
Time. I haven't had a whole lot of briefings lately because most of the information, the briefing stopped on the 10th of this month. A lot of the information I've been receiving the last couple of weeks, it's been from people like retired generals, colonels, and you know, people that were majorly connected, but they are no longer getting the briefings that they were getting, live briefings. So a lot of what you're hearing is informed speculation from you know, military intelligence type people. They're going off of their last briefings, little bits and pieces of information that are coming in, and then they try to extrapolate the most likely scenario from that. And then some of them are giving that information, and they're not passing it on as an informed speculation. They're passing it on just like they would a briefing. Because a lot of these, a lot of the military types, when you're used to always having the answers, and then it gets to a point to where you're not getting the same information and you don't have the answers like you used to, it's a weird addictive kind of feeling when you're giving people information and you know, they expect you to have it. So these people are, a lot of these people are unintentionally spreading around information that's not exactly true. I've been told that the mass arrests are not occurring yet, that everyone will know. This is new information, and I was cleared on sharing this. I was told that if it did come to a point to where they, after mass indictments, that they were doing mass arrests, that all of them would be coordinated over a 72-hour period worldwide. That during that 72 hours, especially in developed countries, telephone systems will completely go down. You will only be able to call 911 and receive emergency broadcast information on your phone, which they will utilize heavily. I'm not exactly sure. I was told that your regular content on televisions would continue with a lower third, a sign at the bottom saying, please remain calm, with a small explanation. Local news would still play and give people informed information and speculation, but the national news and all of that would be, wouldn't work in the beginning. I was told that during this 72 hours, the internet would slow to a complete crawl, almost unusable. And you know, if we ever come to a point to where the internet goes down, the phones aren't working, and we're receiving emergency broadcast information to remain calm, I'm going to be popping a bottle of champagne, because most likely that means that mass arrests are going on. I'm not going to see it as an extremely scary thing like many would, especially after the coronavirus thing that has occurred. Now, all of this could change if an opportunity pops up. Now, this coronavirus is it's a bad thing, but it could also be an opportunity for the Alliance to be able to use it as cover to arrest people. But as far as I've heard, that is not occurring at the moment. Like I said, I have not had briefings since the 10th.
And why do you think it didn't happen yet? Do you think it will happen, or?
Well, I've asked, how come all of, during the COVID event, wouldn't that be a perfect opportunity to execute all of these arrests?
Yep.
And in some cases they did. And I don't know if you remember, it was last year in Mexico, the federales had come into this town and arrested a drug lord. And in turn, the drug lord's people surrounded all the federales, and a standoff ensued, and they released the drug lord. For lack of better words, this is what I'm using, not to offend anyone.
Sure.
And so I was told that very similar things happened within during the first several weeks of the quarantine, that in Europe and in other places they had gone in and arrested people, but then the cabal ended up having a ace up their sleeve that we didn't know about, a threat.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what it was. I was told that it could have been a mass destruction type of a threat. So it was a combination of that, and also during this real outbreak, people really getting sick, resources are throttled. Not only has the regular government hit their red line when it comes to resources for taking care of the crisis, so has the Alliance, because the Alliance is plugged into all of this. They're working within the system. Yep. And the system gets locked into a major crisis, they're locked in as well, and they're fighting the crisis as well.
Okay, no, I understand. Do you think the Alliance maybe underestimate the cabal, because they were planning to do that this semester, and then with all these setbacks and with the quarantine and the COVID-19 thing?
Yeah. Well, one thing that is a very well-known statement within the Alliance is no plan survives the battlefield. We're fighting a very dug-in enemy, and we have very good intelligence on them because a lot of them have flipped, but they have all types of contingencies, and they're very clever. So it's like a real war. People make headway. They'll fight through the trenches. They'll gain 10, 20 feet, and then a barrage will come in from the other side, and they retreat. And then, it kind of goes back and forth until there's that critical, pivotal linchpin moment. And right now, the Alliance is building up to that linchpin moment by declassing all of this information and making it extremely obvious that this cabal exists, this deep state. Because the more they yell and scream until they're red in the face that this conspiracy doesn't exist, the more they expose it themselves.
Yeah, I told people from my channel the other day that the worse the better, but in this way that you're telling, so the more we push, the more we will have come our way, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think this COVID-19 and the quarantine thing is a counter strike from the cabal?
Well, if you play pieces of my clip, I will give my information now is the same as it was then. Was that we knew that some of the original virus had come from, had at one time been at an American university. They thought that Chinese students had smuggled it back, into China, and that they were working on weaponizing it. And they don't know if it was on purpose, on accident, because they have very lax protocols when it comes to engineering and dealing with viruses in China.
Okay.
And so the Alliance itself, the last I heard, they didn't know if this was done on purpose or if it was an accident. But they do know that after it, whatever purposely or accidentally that it did occur, that China did capitalize in a couple of ways and did divert people to the United States who they knew had the disease, and they wanted to cripple the United States economy. And so they did and I heard that it was like a weapon of opportunity.
Okay. Okay, great. We will refer to that clip of yours, and thank you for letting us use that.
The first one is from Therese. With the coronavirus now spreading across our planet, how many in fear of the ramifications of this, have you ever received any information about viruses, how they're created, etc., from the Anshar or any ETs? What do they say about this? Do you believe the coronavirus is an engineered creation of man?
Well, the Anshar have told me many times in the past, often how ETs will make genetic changes to us is to introduce it through a virus. A virus invades our system and breaks down the DNA and makes changes to it. And they learned how to use virus as a piggyback system. Now, I'm sure we're doing the same thing in black programs. The information that I had received, and I'm just going to tell you how I had heard it, was that it was a biological weapon, or it was in the process of becoming a biological weapon. It may not have been fully developed. That it came from an American university, that according to this information, I don't know how accurate it is, a Chinese student helped smuggle it back to Wuhan, where there was going to be a joint venture with Americans that were paid off to develop this virus. And it was going to be developed as a way of population control. To this day, I don't know how, and the Alliance people that have given me briefings don't know how it was released, if it was by accident or on purpose, or if it was first an accident and then people took advantage of it and began to spread it. They didn't really know at the time.
Let's take a different look to this COVID-19 then. Where does this disease and all the things that are happening now fit into our ascension process? Do you have any new info about the new guardians? And I will also ask them, if I could, why would they let it happen to us? I think in a spiritual way of looking at. I know we co-create our reality, and because we've been so manipulated throughout history, especially lately in the last couple of years, and it's been so hard to co-create a way out of it all. Sometimes to some people, it seems that we've been forgotten some way. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, these beings, they're not allowed to really meddle as much as you would think. A lot of what is occurring is self-inflicted, and they have to sit back and let the karma play out. There's a cosmic law involved. But also, the way they see it, all evolution occurs through stress. So these problems that we're creating for ourselves, we're creating for ourselves to use as a catalyst to grow. We're creating all of these problems that we have to solve that will expand our consciousness in different ways. So this is a process that goes on and has gone on many different planets. And I know a lot of us would like to believe that there are these angelic beings sitting there going, it's not exactly how it is. They see us as extensions of themselves. We are all the same one infinite creator having a different experience. And each of those experiences is just as important to the one infinite creator as any of the others. So they're not going to interfere in that experience.
Okay.
The one infinite creator is here to experience duality, good, bad, and we agreed on some level to experience what we're experiencing. So, we can't blame the ETs for not coming down and saving us. That's our biggest problem. We're the ones that we've been waiting for. We don't need to look to the skies for a savior. We need to save ourselves.
Perfect. Well, and in the same line of thought, what can you tell us about the true spiritual hierarchy? I mean, we hear so much about federations, ascended masters, and everything. Do you think it's possible that a new force is emerging that is not attached to any spiritual hierarchy, just based on our inner source, our individual Christ consciousness?
Yeah, I mean, that's what these energies are forcing us to do. They're forcing us, the energy that we're projecting out these energies are coming in and they're so strong, they're pushing the field back in and forcing us to look within. And this Christ consciousness energy that's enveloping our star system right now, it's not here to judge us. It's even scarier than that. It's here to make you judge yourself.
That's the worst kind of judge.
Scares the hell out of some people.
Yeah, and basically this is well, tying to your other answer. I think the fear of facing our fears is what's driving everyone crazy these days, right? With this pandemic being the catalyst of that process, right?
Well, the beings have shared with me that these cosmic energies are increasing. Galactic energies are increasing, and they're affecting everybody. All of our unresolved karma, traumas, insecurities, they're all just, just blowing up.
Yeah.
And that is to give everyone an opportunity. When I talk to the Anshar about people going crazy, they're like, oh, what a wonderful opportunity. I'm like, what are you talking about? Opportunity? These people are nuts. They're hurting each other. And she said, well, all of their inner issues, karmas, all of the things I mentioned before are coming up, and they're given an opportunity to deal with them and to release the energies associated with them, or they succumb to them. And we see a lot of people in this community, even some of my people I used to work with, that came in with just beautiful intentions, but they just succumbed to their distortions and collapsed. And that's only going to increase. We're only like 8 or 9 waves into what's like 13 or something waves. I mean, we're like, 3/4 of the way in. And from what I'm told, the end time madness is only going to get worse. You're going to seriously, debate on whether you really need that dozen eggs or not, and whether you want to leave the house at some point, because people, there's no rhyme or reason. They're just flipping out, and it's going to get worse.
Yeah, that's interesting. You said we are 3/4 in, so we have a quarter left. Is this quarter going to last that long, or what can we expect?
Each wave is more intense and the duration is longer.
Okay, well, it's going to be a hell of a wait. Well, talking about those changes, well, we've been observing a really strange phenomenon happening in the Earth magnetic field lately, right? We had some fluctuations. I think it was April 9th that I could see on the NASA website that our magnetic field almost fully collapsed, and now we have this South Atlantic anomaly. And it's right above Brazil, yeah. Especially in the south of the country, all over Paraguay, north of Argentina. And it's going to be right on top of us when we'll be there in September for the Experience 2020. And apparently it's splitting and creating another focus point that's going towards Africa. What can you tell us about that? Do you know something about that? Is it related to the solar event? Because we are in solar minimum, right?
Yeah. Solar minimum affects our electromagnetic field as well, but it has to do with the cosmic energies that are coming in, that are emulating in through the sun, and also from outside of the solar system.
Okay. Another fluctuation that we are seeing is in the Schumann resonance as well, that it's every other day it's spiking. So besides the fact that the sun is in solar minimum, it's all due to this cosmic energies that are coming right now.
Yeah, because during solar minimum, the electromagnetic field of the sun weakens and allows more cosmic radiation to come in.
Okay. Well, interesting. And talking about ascension, do you think it's possible to ascend without leaving the planet, or do we have to leave Earth to ascend?
Well, it depends on what your definition of ascension is. If ascension is turning into a light body and then floating around and doing all of this stuff, then I can't answer your question, because these beings have not represented ascension that way to me. They've represented it as a slow but steady expansion of consciousness that happens in quick little bursts here and there. And we're about to go through one of those quick little bursts, but after it happens, we're going to be in turmoil because we're going to have to get used to all these new abilities and ways of thinking, and it's going to be weird. Talked earlier to someone about we become more intuitive, empathic. We start connecting with everyone in a way that's confusing in the beginning. People that are married, we're like connecting with other people, and it's like soul family connection, and it gets real confusing for a while. And we have to go through a process of, adapting to it, and abilities develop and all of that, and then it happens in a slow, steady process. I was never shown an instance to where the sun does a big flash and half the planet disappears, or people begin to turn into light bodies and float around and read each other's minds. That's not how it's been represented to me.
Okay, so we don't have to die to experience that. We will experience that in this
We're
dimension.
experiencing it now. Your consciousness is expanding right now. If you're entertaining this type of information, you're giving your imagination the ability to build with those parameters and to expand your consciousness. Every time you learn a new truth and you drop an old belief system, your consciousness expands. You've ascended. You are ascending. That is what ascension is. It's not where you start fading out of this reality. That's not how it's been represented to me anyway.
Perfect. Thank you, Corey. Thank you so much for your time, Corey. So we can say our goodbyes. Please tell us a little bit about your Accelerating Ascension course and how it's been so far for you.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been extremely popular. People are loving it. It's at acceleratingascension.com, and we have it in, I believe, 8 or 9 languages translated. And it's a 10-week course that I go over, covering traumas, expanding your consciousness. We go over high vibe diets. It's an amazing amount of information if you go to the website and look. And not only that, it's pretty much become a video on demand site, because a lot of interviews that I'm doing, we're putting on as well. I'm interviewing a lot of professionals about these topics. And also, I think something that's become popular is Shanti, one of the people that's helping me teach about high vibe diets. She's doing a series of vegan cooking shows. And nice. Those are very popular as well. So yeah, it's a lot of people are very excited. The feedback has been great. Some people have really said that they've had some big changes in their lives, and we're really proud to be a part of it.
Great. And well, I'm a student as well at the course, and I've been enjoying it a lot. And since the beginning, I think the very first episode, you talk about yourself and your life journey, and some completely new things that you haven't talked about before, especially your childhood and all the process, how your family was and everything to this day. So it was very interesting since day one.
Yeah, a lot of new information. Yeah, and Stacy being there with me,
yeah,
she has a lot better memory on a lot of these things, and she was recalling information that I wasn't easily or readily remembering, and she was able to help us bring a lot more out.
Definitely, and we can see obviously how you guys connect and how she can help you, and it's been just watching this conversation between you two is just
yeah, we've been married 27 years, so kind of know each other.
Nice. Thank you, Corey. Everyone, Corey Goode will be with us in Brazil for the first time at Experience 2020, a great spirituality event that will be happening in Florianópolis, this magical island in the south of Brazil, this September, on the 18th, 19th, and 20th. So for more information about the speakers, the place, and everything about the event, please go to experience2020.com.br. All right. Thank you, Corey. Thank you very much for your time once again.
Thank you. I can't wait till September.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. See you around. Bye.